Hi YouTube, Four-Eyed Piper here. As you can see, I am coming to you from my back porch where we're having a really cool thunderstorm, so I thought it would be cool to shoot a video tonight. I am smoking my Dagner Missouri Meerschaum Cob Poker, and in it, because it's my first time smoking this, I thought it should have its first smoke with a little bit of Cult Blood Red Moon in Jay's honor. So thank you, Jay and Jason and Elaine. So actually what I wanted to do tonight was do a video response for Unicorn Piper's 3,000 subscriber giveaway video. Congratulations to you, Unicorn Piper. That's awesome. 3,000 subs, pretty cool. I know that's really not the reason for doing your videos, but obviously you're appreciated, and I certainly appreciate what you bring to the table for the YTPC, and I hope that I can add a little value too with my videos. So cheers to you and thank you very much. Unicorn Piper asked for us to submit a story and to maybe give some suggestions to him about his channel. First off, I love your channel. I don't really have any criticisms of your channel. I certainly like how many blend reviews you do versus, you know, rambles versus just talking about the hobby and the certain things that you do. I really don't have too much to give you as far as how to improve your channel. I appreciate the reviews that you've done. I think they're very insightful. They've helped me to make some good choices about my new pipe smoking hobby. So thank you very much. As far as a story, well, I figured I'd do just a quick story about me so you can kind of get to know me, maybe put a face with a name. My new channel, Four-Eyed Piper. I'm hoping to do some videos every week, and I thought maybe if I told you a little bit about myself and just some little nugget, maybe you'd remember me down the road. So, I'm 32 now. I've got a family, a wife, a great job, a home, and all that stuff, but 10 years ago, I was at a really low point. I was 22 years old. I was working on my second degree, going to school, to a school outside of Buffalo, New York. Working on a degree in psychology, of all things. Which I did not finish and I do not use today, except for dealing with crazy people, which I guess, a little coursework in that never hurts. But I was going to school. I was in, my second semester, I think, of my first year. And partying it up, as you do when you're 22. Just wrapped up a party, early hours of the morning. We're up in some apartment attic playing beer pong or some such nonsense. And we finished for the night. We're all going to kind of wrap it up and get out of there. And as I was coming down the stairs out of the attic, I slipped and fell and ended up breaking my leg in 3 places. I actually caught my foot on the way down, and my body went further than my foot, and I ended up touching my left foot to my left knee. So that was pretty cool. Not really. I blacked out, of course, and my buddies picked me up and threw me in the car and took me to the hospital. Did x-rays and all that nonsense, and then told me I needed to have surgery. So within the next 24 hours, I was in surgery, put all sorts of hardware in my leg, reconstructed my ankle. I've got 15 pins going down my leg. a plate, and then I have a pin that actually goes right through the joint to hold everything together, and a metal band that goes right around the inside of my ankle joint to hold it all together. So it was a mess. It was an absolute mess. And I got out of surgery. They hooked me up with a wheelchair, and I was wheeling around. Couldn't really make it to classes, that kind of thing. I was so far behind within the next few weeks that things just started going downhill. So I got pretty depressed. I was hanging out on campus, couldn't really catch up with my coursework though. Drinking too much and enjoying my pain medication, and by enjoying I mean just like sitting around in a stupor, in a pretty low spot. I ended up failing out of school at that time and went home with my tail between my legs and really didn't have a plan. So being in a miserable state at that point, I really just hung out in the house, and I started physical therapy. It was the middle of winter. It was terrible. Started trying to walk with a cane, and I ended up walking with a cane for a while, but certainly very depressed about where I had gone as far as my physicality goes. And I was hanging out at my parents' house, and after a while, I'm sure it started wearing on them that I was just moping around miserable, and they started pushing on me to get out of the house and find something to do, and so eventually they convinced me to start putting applications in to some different jobs. I had not made any progress with my leg in physical therapy. I dropped out of it, stopped doing it. I was walking around with a cane just thinking that that was going to be the way it was going to be for a while, if not forever. Depressed. But I got a bite on one of my applications, and it was a retail grocery store type environment. Wasn't super psyched about it. It was for a dishwashing position. But I went to the interview anyway. And within a couple of days after the interview, they called me back and made me a job offer, which I almost didn't accept. For one thing, I didn't have a vehicle, and so that meant walking to work, which, as you know already, was miserable business as it is. And after some convincing, I ended up taking the job. Thinking that it would give me some money, maybe I could bum some rides here and there. But yeah. So, after a while, this was the dead of winter, it was about February, I started walking to work. I didn't get to bum any rides. Nobody would give me a ride. My parents refused to drive me to work, thinking that I needed to do this for myself. And I actually began to start building my leg back up. It was about 1 mile to 2 miles to work every day. It took me almost an hour to walk to work. But after a few months, I started to feel a little bit better. I was going to a dishwashing job, which was miserable too, but somehow the bug took in me, and I just really embraced it, and embraced where I was at the time, and started working hard, and started enjoying that money. My legs started to get better. I started to feel more positive. I got rid of my cane. I never went back to physical therapy. But I got rid of that cane, and I started to really get a sense of pride. And I kept working at it, and eventually, after some roundabout circumstances, I ended up moving up with the company and continued to take on new opportunities. And 10 years have gone by, and I'm still with the same company, and now I'm an assistant store manager. And I have high aspirations for more. I went to school with my wife. I went to high school with her. We had both moved to opposite ends of the country. She went to Daytona Beach, and I went to LA. And when I ended up coming back to the company that I work for now, we ended up running into each other. She had moved back to the area. I was back. We wanted to just kind of reconnect and say, hey, well, you know, go out and have a drink or have a bite to eat. And now we're married. We've got 2 kids. I got a wonderful home and a beautiful family. And if it wasn't for all those circumstances leading me to that job and the miserable nature of that, I wouldn't have all the things I have today. So I'm very thankful for the nonsense that went down. I'm glad to learn from my mistakes, and I'm pretty stoked about the life that I've been able to carve out of, you know, that kind of low, miserable time in my life. Pretty proud of it. So I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that will relate to this story. But I guess what it comes down to is I believe that things happen just the way they're meant to happen. I got with the girl of my dreams. I've got a beautiful family. I've got a beautiful life. So I hope you enjoyed my story. You'll get more of this as we go along, and I'll go into greater detail about my journey. But that's all for now. It's a long video. I just want to say thank you, Unicorn Piper. I appreciate all you do for us in the YTPC. I hope I can add 1% of the value you've added. And I hope you enjoyed watching my story. For now, cheers, and we'll see you next time.